welcome back to our final roundtable for Obi-Wan Kenobi. It is sad to say, but we are at the end of this series. And today, because Dylan and Gibbs are gone, we have Brent from Age of Grogu, we got Mike from Jedi Jive, and AJ from Holnet Mirage. Our usual collaborators, but nonetheless, it's still good to have
our boys. Our gents.
The usual suspects.
Welcome to the usual suspects.
The Star Wars celebration is truly now over, in my opinion.
You think so? I think it's been over for a few weeks, unfortunately. But
no, come on! It started, guys, with Book of Boba. Sorry, with Obi-Wan Kenobi. Wrong show.
Oh, I see.
And it kind of like it ended with Kenobi, from my perspective, at least. So.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know.
I see what
like
he's going
the
for.
thinking.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't feel that way whatsoever. But
really, I did it. It all started that.
Conceptually, I understand, but in between coming home from
on
celebration,
paper,
I had to write an essay. I got COVID. Obi-Wan finished a lot. That wasn't part of my celebration.
Literally, oh my god, so much chaos. Literally, right when we all got home.
Yeah, that wasn't part of my celebration. Anyway, guys, Obi-Wan Kenobi. I just want to. I mean, this is the finale. We just want to jump right into it. So let's start with Brent. Okay. Your immediate reactions. The episode finishes. What are you feeling?
Loved it. Loved every second of it. Loved every frame. Loved every beat of the episode.
There you go. Yep. Mike, same for you.
Yeah, they saved the best for last too. It's probably my favorite episode of the bunch.
Really?
Up there for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've heard the phrase "they suck the landing" a lot going around today, and I agree. That's kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Another happy landing indeed.
Yes.
That was a worry.
I see what you did there, Levi.
Obi-Wan. AJ, what were you feeling?
I thought it was Head and Shoulders, the best episode of the series.
Head and Shoulders. This is a tall episode. Very tall episode.
That's all Vader has. That's all Anakin has left. Head and Shoulders. So that's how it was. I don't know. Like, what did we give last week? 9 out of 10. All together.
I think, well, at least I was like 10 out of 10 or like 9.
Not a lot of shows stick the landing with things. Maybe it was easier for this because they know like what's after.
Yeah.
But this really did. This did a great job. I can't wait to dive into the meat of the episode.
Yeah, Johnny. So last night, I eventually watched our reaction back. It seemed like you were positive, but you were trepidatious. You were like,
I watched it again. I was a little I think I was a little bummed by the fight, but then watching it again, I mean, like,
it was a great fight, dude.
That's what I'm saying.
It was a good fight. I think for me it was the setting. Really
he hates the planet.
Why?
He hates the planet.
I thought it was fine.
I just think
kind of
like
bland.
The variety of planets we've gotten in the show has not been wonderful, and like Vader and Obi-Wan have fought twice in this show and twice on just like rock and gravel. I don't like it.
Yeah,
it's dark. It's dark, and this has kind of been a whole thing with the whole show, but in this episode it kind of got to me. The show is extremely grainy. And it's really gotten to me, especially in the finale. But besides that, wonderful finale.
Okay. I'm wondering whether that was a choice of filmmaking to take it back to feel like film.
So.
No, because people associate Obi-Wan with prequels, and prequels are like modern era.
Oh yeah, good point. They're all digital, of course. Yeah,
but they are technically,
Do you think that's associated with like?
Yeah.
You think the lighting could have been better? You mean, Johnny?
It's a very dark show. For meaning
literally,
Jenny and I were commenting on how we loved the atmosphere. That reminded me of Edu from Rogue One.
That's what we were saying.
With the tall rock formations. But I think it allowed the color, the light of the lightsabers.
I think that's what they were going for, though. They wanted that extra bounce from their lightsabers to make it really dominant in a darker zone. I mean, we saw how flushed out the faces of both Obi-Wan and Anakin looked when they were doing the daytime fight sequences. And the blue, I felt, was really flattening their faces. And I know they were de-aged and everything, but I think the additional blue light from the week before flushed their faces out. So the additional lighting and the darkness with the light and the fight sequences at the end there in the last episode, I think really brought forward some of that. It needed some of that contrast, in my opinion.
Yeah,
it wasn't even like...
Go ahead.
It wasn't even like... The duel was kind of just... it was good. It was a good lightsaber duel, you know. But and the throwing the rock stuff was very cool, video game-esque. It was like it was a little weird, but it was cool.
Force Unleashed, like
yeah.
What else are you gonna throw on a rock planet?
The dialogue at the end is like really what
that's,
sells it for me. Like they nailed that. That was
Wait, we're jumping ahead here. We're jumping ahead.
I was done.
We brought up the whole place.
You know what?
I was gonna say.
The rock thing made me wish that it was Rey Kenobi even more, because Rey lifts rocks too.
A lot of Jedi lifting rocks, yeah.
Jedi be out there lifting rocks. I wanted to bring up this comment by Human Help, which shout out Human Help, good to see you in the chat, saying they were saving the best music for last, because a lot of people have been criticizing
I agree.
The music in the series. Yeah. But I wanted to say that Natalie Holt has said in an interview that when she scored it as if it were a movie, and when you watch the whole thing together, the experience you get with the music is it builds over time. Like certain themes they're isolated. They're using only certain amounts of instruments in the first episode, say, but by the last episode, it's a full orchestra, and I don't know. When she talks about like there was an intent to it, and you have to watch it as a whole piece. That intent, and I was like, okay, maybe I can see that. So in terms of the music, because the music has been a point of controversy for people, I would just put that out there that the jury's still out on the music for me.
Supposed to Bill.
Yeah, I need to listen to it separately. I need to hopefully be dropping in the next week or so. I'm hoping.
Yeah. And the Obi-Wan theme itself to me feels like it's just very short and kind of like
it's Spider-Man PS4.
Yeah.
It is. Oh my god, it is. I knew it was familiar. I like it a lot, but
I know I like it. Just
that piece. Levi, I had a score question for you later on, towards the end of the episode. So we'll get to that.
Well, here, so let's start off. We'll go chronologically. We we open on the sandy streets of Tatooine, and Reva is looking disheveled.
Not how I thought it was gonna start.
No.
Yeah. Not how I thought. Walking through the streets.
She got there quick.
Hunted for Owen. Yeah.
Right.
In my head canon, she hopped in that back.
Technically, it took her a week, but
in my head canon, it was just dark side users are like known for getting cut in half, and then their hatred.
Yeah.
And need for revenge is what keeps them alive.
That's
exactly what the Grand Inquisitor said.
Exactly. Yeah.
Revenge is a keep whatever. It's
yeah.
So basically, I just figured like, Reva's definitely mortally wounded, but she wants to finish her shit so bad that she's driven by anger. But then it didn't make sense to me that she was still alive in the end, then, because she didn't receive any, like you said, back to attention.
No.
When Owen was fighting her, it was very clear that she was at like 10%.
He even like poked her wound.
Yeah, otherwise she would have been able to.
I mean, Maul pretty much was chopped in half, and he still survived without a back to tank. Vader, we don't think Vader got the back to tank. He was just plugged straight into arms and legs, straight there. It is that whole drive of being angry and mad. If you're that badly injured, that it is you draw from the dark side to keep you alive.
Yeah,
Levi, did you
more than anything.
Did you want to follow up on our findings this past week about what we thought last week to now with young Reva?
Our findings. Oh, okay.
Your findings, I should say.
Yeah. So last week there was much to do about whether or not Reva got stabbed as a youngling and then stabbed again later in the same spot. And
it was unclear.
Yeah, it was unclear. And AJ and I were under the impression that it was a visual metaphor.
Yeah.
And she was having like a moment with Vader. And I still like to think that, but upon rewatch, there are multiple moments in the show where she is grabbing her side before she gets stabbed again, which clearly like indicates to me that she has a wound there. Like when Fifth Brother uses the Force on her in the fourth episode, she very clearly grabs her side afterwards and like grimaces, and she does it multiple times throughout the show. And like that to me indicates that she was in fact stabbed as a child.
Yeah. Which is a weird move, because how many times is she gonna get stabs in the stomach?
Wait. When did she do that before?
It's when the Fifth Brother uses the Force on her. The one I can think of right now, 100% example. He uses the Force on her when he's like, "That's my seat." It's episode 3, excuse me, not 4.
She gets like flattened out.
Yeah, she gets flattened out, and she comes back up and she holds her side. And there's a shot of her like looking down and holding her where she got stabbed.
Okay.
Yeah.
We talked about this, man. Come on.
Yeah.
You were like,
we did?
Yeah.
It's all right. I was there.
I think it was mostly Dylan last week. It was mostly
whatever.
Dylan. But anyways,
it's all right.
Yeah. So then Reva is now going after Luke.
Well, you kept talking about how much you liked the cloak look, so I wanted to.
I loved the cloak. Yeah. That was so cool on her with the robe she got there.
That was a cool look.
Cloaks and Inquisitors. Yes.
Well, yeah, Cloaks and Inquisitors. And I like Grand Inquisitor with a cape too. I think that was a good look.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, so yeah, we cut to the Roken's crew getting chased through space with some very A New Hope like music.
A New Hope moment, yeah.
Which I really enjoyed the score in that moment, and the shot of Vader walking down towards the bridge with the Grand Inquisitor there. Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
and they're
so cool. At least they're together in live action. It's like insane.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like crazy to me.
I do kind of. I mean, there was no place in the story, but I do kind of wish the Grand Inquisitor had a little bit more of a comeback in the end to do in the last episodes. It was the only thing that was kind of a little bit of a takeaway, and I understand why they couldn't do anything, but I still would like to have seen just a little bit more. Than a
Did you guys feel like there was anything cut from this episode when you're watching it?
No.
No.
I actually felt like they were fitting a little bit in.
Okay.
Yeah.
More than I was.
See what you mean, but it all fit. I thought.
Yeah.
I felt like there was some stuff like because we're talking about it now in that scene in the ship, like it cuts to Haja, who has just spoken to Leia, and I feel like that was definitely a scene that was filmed that got
he's like I spoke to her, and I was like, okay.
And I was like, did you?
Any of that?
There was some stuff in there on Tatooine and on the ship where I felt like maybe they cut some stuff out. I still think it flowed pretty well, but
I think there was some reworkings of this episode.
Yeah, because they also Obi-Wan had that one line to Haja where he was like, "Make sure she gets there," and he's like, "I promise you," and then like that was it. You didn't like.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, that kind of.
I kind of that didn't bother me. I mean, I actually like the ability.
Well, I got
that Obi-Wan.
The chat.
I do like the ability that sorry for concentration. It had that ability that Obi-Wan is really quite specific with people. He knows when to trust somebody specifically, implicitly, and he knows that someone's not going to betray them. You know, if you look at what was it, the Last Jedi, and that whole trust issue with what's his name?
Oh.
There's a lot of trust. Yeah, there's a different elements of how Jedi proceed. Trust and thought, and Obi-Wan's always been able to focus right to the heart of somebody and go, you're going to be fine. You know, he went up to Chewbacca and is completely fine with Chewbacca, for example, in New Hope. So there's this element that Obi-Wan's always had, this ability to be able to really identify and trust somebody he's going to personally pass something on to, without betrayal, kind of thing.
No, I like that moment between where
that was a good moment.
Because I think it. Yeah, I like the moment. I was just saying I felt like something was cut there between Haja and Leia, but that's me. But what do we think of that? You know, Leia is like, you don't go, or I guess in general, what do we think of the relationship that this story has built between young Leia and Obi-Wan?
You know what I thought was the best part of the entire show was the context that all of this puts
on A New Hope.
All of those New Hope.
Seriously.
Every scene in the first half of that movie now has context to it. And I was saying to Jenny earlier that like most of these things are just kind of insignificant. Like it doesn't really matter that Obi-Wan gave Luke that toy, but that little bit of context is just such a cool little thread now that interconnects the. So there's that, like it supports existing material and enriches it, and to me that's the coolest part of all of it.
Right.
I went back and watched this.
Insignificant things become significant in that way.
I watched the scene when Leia is comforting Luke after Obi-Wan dies on the Falcon. And that, like, the subtext of that scene now is
it's so much stronger. Yeah,
I didn't think
when
about that.
she puts the blanket on him, like the poncho on him, and the way she's like,
she's been nurturing all her life,
and the fact that she's actually like relatively like positive about it. She's like not.
I mean, her whole planet just blew up. So there's that too. But just the way that like she knows Ben and she knows that he is a Jedi, and the way that she experienced the way he came back and the way he became someone who could, like, Jedi are meant to let go their self in that way, and the fact, like, when she sees him die, you know, Luke's like, no, but she gets it, like when Luke's like, I'm here with Ben Kenobi, she's like, Ben Kenobi, she's like, okay, this is happening now, like, this is the real deal, Ben Kenobi's back, and this is a big mission, like, this is a big point for the Rebel Alliance, like, he's back, and when she sees him go, she knows it's for something important, because she had this experience before, and I'm totally with Mike. The New Hope, like, I can't watch the movie the same ever again.
It's just like Rogue One,
and it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Yeah,
it's like
totally.
Yeah,
and wasn't what Obi-Wan said to Leia? That was what was said in Return of the Jedi.
I was saying
the inheritance,
sort of towards the end, in Return of the Jedi when Leia is talking to Luke about what she remembers of her actual mother.
Yeah.
She mentions her beauty though. Obi-Wan didn't touch on that.
Well, yeah, whatever. But
I couldn't remember. I just thought
but there's 3 times in the show where Obi-Wan is talking about Padme.
Yeah.
It's cool that she would pick up something from
they also implied that Leia, like, she doesn't know that she's Force sensitive, but she is inadvertently using the Force, like when she's like talking to her cousin and kind of like reading his mind and then like putting it back in his face.
Yeah.
She doesn't know she's using the Force, but we know that. So she has the ability to he has the ability to impart knowledge to her without actually saying the thing to her. She can actually see Padme in her mind, even though she doesn't realize she can. Or that, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. Because she has the Force. It's Leia.
Yeah.
It's Leia. And this show did a lot to make Leia seem even cooler in the original trilogy. I was talking with my friend the other day about how, like, in Empire Strikes Back, like, Leia does a lot of, like, nagging Han Solo from the back seat.
Right.
Oh, no. Everyone is here.
Qui-Gon was here and then Obi-Wan's here.
You were saying, though, Leia does some...
Yeah, sorry, keep going.
Yeah, Leia does a lot of nagging of Han Solo in Empire Strikes Back. Like, she doesn't help very much. She does a lot of complaining and, like, telling him how much he sucks, and it's very, like... But this definitely, like you said, just saying how she handles Obi-Wan's death, how she, like, all of that stuff is very... The context that it gets put in now.
Yeah.
Right.
There was a checklist definitely that was going into the show that, like, a lot of boxes need to be checked off, and I think they did it pretty well.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and also, like, the fact they highlighted this a little bit in Rebels when they had young Leia in that, and obviously if you've read the novels too, like, you know how much involved Leia's been, but, like, for the longest time, Luke Skywalker has been, like, the star of the show. He's like, he blew up the Death Star. He, you know, he's the great Jedi Luke Skywalker, and, like, Leia has only recently now been like, oh, she's actually been, like, a star all along. Since she was a kid, she's been
doing this
and
all her
taking
life.
names. And she's been dealing with people like Darth Vader before Luke Skywalker was.
And I know this is sort of a weird connection
off of Tatooine.
But firstly, on that point, I mean, that's always been the case. And the first thing she does in A New Hope is, you know, Darth Vader, only you could be so bold. They're facing each other down. She already has that history with the Empire. But something that you're saying that making me think of is that even in George's sequel ideas, the ones he has said more recently anyway, because I know his ideas change all the time, is that Leia would have ended up being the chosen one in his mind, and that in his version of the story, she was going to be like a chancellor, and it was a whole thing, but like she would have been the chosen one. And that's all from him. That's in the Paul Duncan Star Wars Archives book. He gives this interview about it. And so this emphasis on sort of even George recontextualizing Leia as being just important as Luke, I think it's a cool new thing that Star Wars has done. Even in The Rise of Skywalker, a movie that not everyone loves, like the scene between Luke and Leia training, like she is a Jedi just like him, man. Like she has a saber and she deliberately put it down so she could go help run the galaxy. Like that is a choice that she made.
Right.
And that's just it creates a really cool dichotomy between the twins. Like both of these twins are so awesome and important for the story of Star Wars, and I'm glad we're getting there. But yeah, we might as well just talk about it. You know, Vader, they have a whole line with the Grand Inquisitor, yada yada, follow Kenobi. We get to the fight. Oh boy, this fight.
You want to go right to the fight? Hold on. What?
I mean, what is this? What are we jumping over? Nothing.
Well, Leia gives Obi-Wan Lola.
Well, that's
sneaks it to him.
Yeah.
That's easy scene.
The fight is really the main thing of conflict.
I am curious why a shuttle on board that ship before we get to the fight has got hyperdrive, and yet they were having issues with trying to figure out hyperdrive. Yeah, it was like one of those
it's
weird
not our first
moments. Yeah,
hyperdrive continuity issue in Star Wars.
Fair enough.
I don't know.
Anyway, back to Vader.
It's a different hyperdrive. That's easily explainable.
There we go.
They don't have the parts for the big hyperdrive.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
They wouldn't just leave everyone behind.
Hyperdrive Mini.
It was a tiny
Fair
ship.
enough.
They couldn't fit anyone on there.
Yeah,
Not filled.
I mean, I liked how the sequence was very A New Hope, like with the Star Destroyer chasing the transport, and I think there was one shot that like was just straight up A New Hope, which I thought was cool. But
a lot of those shots gave me Last Jedi vibes too, of the like
that too. Yeah, sure.
Where they're chasing them down. Yeah.
Well, okay, so I guess technically, I guess
It goes to the fight.
Go right to the fight.
Yeah.
Again, I'm iffy on the planet. I thought it was like just kind of.
I was fine with it.
I liked it with the name of the planet.
I liked how it started.
No, they
off,
said it. They said it.
Yeah, they did say it. Yeah, I liked how it started off
They did not
wide
say it.
and open, and it got narrower and narrower and narrower into the chasms. And at the same time, paralleling that, it was Luke and Reva, Luke being in the open and getting caught in the canyon, and it was a very simultaneous, claustrophobic closing in of these characters. Again, another thought out.
Johnny, you're not going to find it.
There was one.
It doesn't exist.
I was going to say there was one preliminary like concept art frame where it was like the moon in the background, and it was just like where the shuttle was parked, and then you see like the rock formation starting, and it was a wide angle of both of them, and it was beautiful. And I love how that like from an artistic perspective, there's no need for some crazy landscape. They don't need to have Mustafar and lava craziness. It's like, look what we can do with computers now. Yeah. Like, it really was about making them the center of attention. Yeah, them, like, it's all about them and their. So, like, the landscape is all. It's literally just like you know in the Matrix where it's like this is a blank slate. It could have been like that. They could have fought in the Matrix in nothing but white, and the story would have been the same.
It felt like framed like an old samurai Kurosawa kind of duel.
Yeah,
for sure. Whereas the shuttle's on one side and the rocks are. I felt the same thing. Where
maybe.
It's like you can go see Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness if you want to see them crash through like 50 realities.
Basically, that's already out.
In the space of like 20 seconds and see like every landscape imaginable. But it's like I don't care about that right now. I care about their relationship. And
I really liked that.
Right, exactly.
I thought the rocks were adequately the way the formations were adequately. Non-human, you know, they're not of Earth to be. It felt like Edu, and
I was like, "Is this Edu?" Yeah. They never said the name of the planet.
Secretly. You're looking for it, Johnny. It doesn't exist. I've seen the episode 3 times.
They mentioned where the crew was going, but they didn't mention where Obi-Wan.
Yeah, that's where I think I got mixed up.
Yeah, there was like Temin or Terran or something. Like that.
I don't know. I just think like, it needs to be spiced up a little bit more. Is all.
I thought it was pretty freaking spicy, I thought it was
awesome. I don't know. Let's talk about some of these force powers that we really haven't seen necessarily on film before. I mean, Vader putting his hand to the ground and just like creating.
It felt like
shattering the earth.
It felt like video game moves in a good way.
It did.
Yeah, like Force Unleashed.
Okay. Yeah, like where Obi-Wan did a bunch of like ducks and rolls, where I was like, oh, you don't see that enough. Where it's like strafing and like
the rock throws.
I really like that shot. I mentioned it during our reaction,
but with cinematic camera.
There was the first roll, and then he like rolls towards the camera. It was just like playing a video game, but the way it was framed, I was like, oh, that works really well. Chad brings up, okay, but what's the point of Obi having Lola? Well, throughout the whole show, Lola has been sort of a representation. This is the way I just read it. Of Leia's being a child. Like in the first episode, she's running through the woods with Lola. At the end, she's got Lola in the holster, but her giving it to, like, she doesn't need it anymore. She doesn't need it to be strong, and she gives it to Obi-Wan for him. And he said it's more a reference to the line where he's like, oh, maybe I need the droid too. Where she's saying how it helps distract the refugees.
And also he needed to go see Leia again for a reason. So.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
The classic leave something behind, so you got
Actually, it is. It was in Leia's mind. Yeah, in Leia's mind. If
she put it there.
I put it here because you have to return it to me.
Yeah, she didn't forget it.
It was pure and simple. Yeah. It was like instead of saying something verbally, it was like No, that makes sense too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought when I first thought I was like, why is Lola here? But then I was like, okay.
No, she slipped it into
right before that.
No, I know.
Right before that on the transport, she mentions how like Lola makes her happy or gives her hope or something. And Obi-Wan's like, oh, I could use some of that. So maybe that's it too.
That is what I just said. Yes.
Levi, I spaced out while you were talking. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good.
It was something along the lines of like Lola cures depression, basically, right?
Just like that.
There you go. Absolutely.
Sure,
she'll make you feel happy.
Yeah.
And did you see? I don't know if you saw in the background, but she did have her little legs out from the toy, and she was walking on the. Because we only see it. We only see it in the first and this episode, but she does have little legs, and she can walk around. Yeah.
Yeah.
When did that happen in this episode?
It's when the thing we keep talking about.
Oh, in the cockpit. Okay.
Well, no,
just standing there.
What I'm talking about is when she's walking in the background, because Leia is using her. Okay, that's not a secret, but it's shot with Aubrey's in it. Aubrey is in the background, like talking to like some refugees, and Leia is using Lola to like help alleviate the children's fear. Yeah. And he's like, Lola's like walking around, and she takes it, and then Obi-Wan's like, yeah, man, I need some of that too. Like, we're freaked out.
God, you could totally do a young Leia TV show with that actress.
Oh, absolutely.
She's fantastic.
She
really
did.
I was saying that there was that one scene where he was saying like, "These are the qualities you got from your mother. These are the qualities you got from your father."
God.
She had no lines in that scene, and she had tons of emotion on her face. So the whole and I was
a lot of great emotion.
She was.
So you could easily have Lola be like the sidekick droid in the Young Leia TV show, like, and have it be like the next BB-8 selling. And sidekick droids are like the number ones. Like, come on.
Mando season 4, Lola, Babu Frick.
Lola,
that's it. Yes, merchandising. It's all part of the plan.
I still think BD1. I think is the one they really need to play up the most because they introduced him in.
Well,
Book of Boba Fett.
Let's hold that because
let's hold that thought.
There's a lot to say
that. Maybe we'll talk about that at the end of the show.
We're gonna put it.
Okay, bookmark that.
What'd you guys think of Vader burying Obi-Wan under rocks?
Kind of crazy.
I thought that was
it was brutal.
Yeah.
But
like that last rock, the way it hit and then it collapsed in.
Yeah.
It was just like.
I like how like Kenobi was conveniently like there was a Kenobi shape.
Just holding it.
within the rocks. Like nothing. I don't know. I felt
they couldn't have made the like high ground status any clearer.
That's it.
He's blatantly looking
unless he said it, that would have been like.
But how about
that? Obi-Wan. That would have been kind of.
I mean, I don't think we've really seen that where Vader just uses the Force to just rip apart the planet below him.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like, have we really seen that? I'm trying to think of someone just
that's
straight
really
up
like
ripping.
I feel like that's a comic thing, but I don't know.
That's a Last Airbender kind of trait or ability.
Sure,
It's like an Earthbender.
I actually, when he said the line, "Did you really think you could defeat me?" I think is what I think he said. I got for a second. I was like, "Wait, is this Hayden Christensen speaking through a Darth Vader voice box?"
That's been a theory that they're running
because it didn't sound like James Earl Jones. It sounded like Hayden Christensen saying the line.
I don't know. Because
later on in the scene, it was clearly a hybrid voice where they were mixing him with.
Yeah.
So
when he had his face out.
No, Mike's talking about before.
Yeah, well, I'm saying at the end it is clearly a hybrid voice. I thought I was hearing a hybrid voice before the helmet even got messed
keep
up.
crediting James Earl Jones. So I mean, obviously, I think we'll get an explanation in the gallery. But I've been confused as to what exactly the voice.
There's always been.
It sounded good though. It was Vader.
It sounded great.
It was Vader.
There's always been that urban Star Wars legend that Hayden Christensen was directed, and I don't have a source on this, but he was directed to speak in the cadence of James Earl Jones in the prequels to then match the way Vader sounds in the originals. That's always been sort of something that's been thrown around. And in this show specifically, now that they're using not actually James Earl Jones, but an AI, a Respeecher thing to go through it,
really well.
and they have Hayden, I think maybe he is talking into a filter and they're redubbing the lines as I could see that.
Levi, you had the perfect opportunity back at Celebration. You were there one-on-one with Matt Wood. You could have asked the man directly. You could have asked. Well, you didn't know, but
it was before.
It's Vader. We knew Vader was still going to be here.
He wouldn't have answered my question. Hey, how would I not have answered that? Yeah, the guy who really mixed
that's like
sound.
a gallery spoiler.
He might have for Rogue One if it was related to Rogue One because it was
maybe, man.
Well, I don't know what it was. I mean, obviously,
Rogue One was actually James Earl Jones.
It was actually James Earl Jones. Yeah. Okay. All right. Are we sure?
That would be crazy if Hayden was in Rogue One secretly. We would.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Anyway, but I feel like we're skipping over the fact that this fight was people were complaining about episode 3 of the show that the fight was not well.
You were complaining about Revenge of the Sith? No, I'm kidding.
Or that Obi-Wan got his ass kicked, and the whole time I was like, that is the point. This team knows what they're doing. They know that this isn't a good fight for them. It's 3 moves and he gets his butt kicked.
They set it up that Obi-Wan was not in any. They set it up that Obi-Wan was not in any position.
People are running with, that was the rematch of the century. I was losing it. I was losing it. No, okay,
for me at least, it wasn't a matter of the actual fight. I understood what it was doing. I just we can talk about it later, but I just think the whole show, the very dark show,
feels budgeted. Yes,
and it's kind of bothered me because I feel like it's not up to par with Mando. I think Mando looks exceedingly better.
Do you think Kathleen Kennedy has something to do with that? Pulling funding off things.
No way. I don't think so.
No,
I just I
don't see the point of that.
Well, why would they limit the budget of something that? Why would they?
I don't know if it's a budget. I just think.
I think it's
Johnny. Maybe you're mixing it with the limited space now that we're becoming aware of the volume and the stage. because there are people bringing up the conversation though that it feels much smaller than a real location, and there definitely is an evident difference between a real location and
I'll
the
say
volume.
this, Mike.
We've just become acquired to seeing what the volume
I don't
boundaries
think it's
are
not space for me. It's
I
just
thought
like
Daiyu looked good. City.
Oh no, value is great.
Yeah. The Mandalorian doesn't have a single lightsaber fight between two lightsabers, nor does it have a Star Destroyer or any ships or anything like that. And I think what it has, or a big like cityscape, you know, the closest thing that Mando comes is like one alleyway that he walks down.
Book of Boba Fett had a train though, which looked great.
Did have a train.
That was big budget.
All I'll say is I think it is a
big train.
It is a mix of they had to pay the actors more to be in this show because they definitely had to expend. They definitely had to expend a lot of the budget.
I get it.
And the scope of the script is larger, but I think the biggest thing beyond anything else is the turnaround time to get this. This filmed last August and like September. That is insane. That this is
fast.
Out. I do not think that they had an adequate time to finish
for post.
I don't think personally.
But
they had an adequate time. That's
I thought the story and the writing worked. Like I've played video games, but they don't have good graphics. They have a good story. It works.
Yeah.
That's what this was, maybe.
I also think, Mike, it is not a budget thing. It is Deborah Chow directing. So, and the director of photography on this series is like the most. I looked it up before. He did like
Chung Hoon Chung.
Yeah, is not. He has a very strange filmography that I'm like, why is?
I was very baffled by his
choices.
Why he was chosen for?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of directing.
Not that he makes bad stuff.
There's a lot of stuff. I think there's a lot of stuff that combines. No one was like maliciously being like, we got to take away the budget from Kenobi. I think sometimes stuff just coalesces.
I also just think it was a
weird. That's all I can say about it.
Yeah,
Like, that's
I don't know. There's more to talk about.
Because I feel the people who say this does not look right. Because I think there is some weird. There's some weird choices with
drab and dark.
With the shaky cam and the lighting.
There was places it worked and there were places it didn't work.
I'm thinking about Deborah Chow's episode in The Mandalorian, episode 3 of season 1, and what similarities you can draw, like you can see in her directing.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah,
I don't even remember what her.
That was where all the Mandalorians show up on Navarro to save Mando.
Another very dark
I haven't seen that in so long. I have to watch it again. But no, I'm just thinking like because
Has Vizsla.
I was going into it, and obviously as you guys know, I am someone who gets my expectations very, very high for things, and then usually gets disappointed at least slightly. So I was expecting this to be an episode 3.5, and like I think for the most part it's been like that, but it's just really just the quality is really bothering me with certain things. VFXs look great though. I think the VFX look great. It's just it's very jarring for me to see like a shot on Kenobi where it's super grainy, then we cut out to like a VFX shot and it's like super clear. It's just weird to me. But anyways, that's enough. That's enough about that.
Yeah.
But, anyway, so back to the fight though. So yeah, Kenobi just gets full buried, and then we get like a Spider-Man Homecoming moment, which was kind of cool. Of him buried, then
you see Luke kids
out of that hole.
He sees his kids.
Yeah, Luke and
Anakin's kids. Yeah.
You just said his kids?
As in Anakin's kids.
No, I know.
Like the guy he's fighting.
I know.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Which is
oh, you meant like Kenobi's kids.
Which is not often.
That's a theory.
It's very powerful in the context of not only is he fighting this guy, he is fighting for this guy's children who he cannot let him know exist. Like he cannot know that these kids exist. And
weird dynamic, huh?
I think it is a weird dynamic. It's crazy to think about.
He's in a tough spot.
There's just so much weight to Obi-Wan and what he has to do in this show. And he does. AJ's right.
There's a lot of weight to those rocks.
He comes sprinting out of that hole, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
When he's like bashing the center chess piece.
That was awesome.
I felt it.
With the butt end of the lightsaber, right? He's like,
Before that, though, just the raising of the rocks, all of them. This wasn't just the ones in the foreground. There was the background. It was like he had several rows of rocks behind.
It was like a
that were just like row 1, row 2. It was just like bombardment after bombardment. It was incredible.
There was a moment I thought was kind of funny.
Borderline dark side.
I might be thinking about it too much, but you're talking about when Kenobi runs back at Vader after he comes back out. Like it's funny, like they shoot it like it's like Vader isn't like aware of a man running behind him just because we can't see him, but then like It's shot. It's just weird. It's just shot weird. I can't explain it very well.
I disagree with that. I don't know, man. I
like
I
just
agree to a
because
certain extent,
it's out of frame, like nobody can see it. Like Vader's not aware just because.
I feel like he would have heard those rocks.
Yeah, I feel like he would have heard that and
something.
also heard Kenobi.
But
Like
the rock thing happens after that. What are you talking about? What is happening?
No.
I thought you were talking about when Obi-Wan comes up behind him.
Yeah.
He just pulls out the lightsaber. Yeah.
Yeah, he
runs
up to
It was
Vader
a simple Force sense.
Are you not following, Levi?
I'm following. I just watched the episode right before we watched. The rock thing happens after this. No. After that.
You're not understanding what I'm saying then. So
someone said he would have heard the rocks lifting, and with the rock.
Yeah, because he lifts the rocks off him.
And then he runs after Vader.
Vader was like so far away.
He was halfway down.
I guess it's pretty. It was a lot of rocks.
But I just think it was funny. Like there's a man like running behind him with a lightsaber, and like Vader just doesn't notice.
I don't think the saber's ignited.
Anyways, no,
this is a strange conversation. I don't
think it's that strange.
I don't think it's that strange either.
Force. It's using the Force, sneaking around.
Yeah.
Using the Force.
If Kenobi is strong enough in the Force to do all that, he's strong enough to sneak.
To be able to sneak up undetected as best he could next to it.
I thought if anything, I've actually
thank you for this.
I made the note when I was watching it a third time that was actually my favorite. The most well shot I thought the episode is that long shot where it's actually stable cam panning around the rocks to Vader to his front, like and he feels it. He knows. He feels it immediately. And looks back and then blocks it.
Yeah,
I don't know. I thought that was well shot. So to each their own. I guess I don't know, but
it was fine. It was good.
Okay. Anyway, Vader starts getting his ass beat. That is the bottom line. We all can agree on that. No matter how it was shot.
Actually, I think I'm gonna disagree. Just
he
held his own.
Destroyed. He's getting his centerpiece smashed. You start hearing the Return of the Jedi noises. You know, he's
I love that. I love that sound effect. The Vader's
and my favorite
breathing like that.
Labored breathing.
And my favorite connection of the whole show, my favorite like plot hole, quote unquote, tie up of recontextualizing the original trilogy is the fact that Obi-Wan's slash of his helmet is the reason why he has the scar on his head.
Scar on the head.
On Return of the Jedi, because you always watch Return of the Jedi. Luke takes the helmet off. It's like his whole head is fine. And he says a scar right here. I'm like, what happened there, man? Like we watched you get burned.
So, guys, you wanted me to go very philosophical for a second?
Philosophical is the
philosophical for a second. Thank you. Yes.
So go for it.
Okay,
go for it. Yeah.
So Ahsoka ends up by slicing into the left side of Vader's mask and can't get it off.
Right.
Obi-Wan
already know
to the right side. The only person who can get Vader's helmet fully off is Luke Skywalker.
Yeah,
that's right.
Good one.
You know, that really is. You know, you look at it that way. It's like twice the closest people in Anakin's life tried to remove the helmet.
What did you think he was going?
No, I'm actually wrong though, because the end of this episode where Vader's in his throne room and you hear the Imperial March for the first time, and I was like, oh, okay, now it's Vader. Now it's the Vader that you know that everyone's familiar with. But I was thinking that like, if Obi-Wan cracks one side and Ahsoka's able to crack the other side, like their two halves were like necessary to like break
Vader.
So that Luke could then eventually complete the process
up till later.
Another connection is in this episode. Obi-Wan says, "Well, then my friend is truly dead, for truly gone." And in Return of the Jedi, Luke says, "Well, then my father is truly gone." And the repeating of that line. When Luke says it to him in front of the Jedi, this isn't I saw this online. That must have just hit him like a truck.
Yeah, like more context, man.
With that context, when his son says like the exact same thing, I think that's when he really breaks, and like where Vader's like, "Oh man, like I lost Ahsoka."
Ahsoka has a similar conversation too.
What about when Luke accuses Obi-Wan's Force Ghost of lying to him in Return of the Jedi, and he says, "You told me my father betrayed and murdered, or Vader betrayed and murdered my father." He says, "Well, he did in a way, in a sense." And here it's like, here you just saw it.
He just said it.
I murdered Anakin Skywalker.
Oh, that was the saddest moment. Like that was one of the saddest moments of the whole episode. Just watching Obi-Wan's face take in the fact that
Ewan's a great actor.
And the way the tears you watch, there's no cut. You watch the tears come to his eyes,
which is a good move. Good move. Don't cut on that.
And he's just I'm sorry, man.
There was like a subtlety. I thought that was kind of cool. Again, this is like the lightsabers being so bright. Vader. When he brings up Anakin, there's the blue light on him. And then when he's like, Anakin Skywalker is dead.
That was
the they did the same thing with Kylo Ren, right?
Sure.
Did you notice how Hayden?
So that was pretty cool.
Hayden in the suit smiled when he said, "I killed him."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So evil.
Spooky.
Oh man, like
you could barely see his mouth, but
I wish his eyes were glowing more at that point, like yellow or red.
Yellow,
The way he smiles just kills me because when
it looks like Palpatine.
I didn't cry. I felt it coming, but just in a reaction, it's hard for me to like focus on something and really get emotional. But on the rewatch, man, like you feel in that moment when he says "I'm sorry for everything," and I like as a fan, I'm flashing back to watching all of the Clone Wars as a kid. I'm like, I'm like, dude, like
I immediately thought
I got chills. I got chills. Like all of the stuff that they have experienced together, and he's just like, I'm sorry for all of it. Like we this was so wrong. We got into the war, all the themes of Star Wars coalescing in that moment for Obi-Wan and making him cry, our main character. It was hard.
I can't wait to see an edit of like that scene and then just like flashbacks to like a bunch of Clone Wars moments and it cuts out. I'm sorry for everything. Yeah. Anyways, but that's funny. That's what I thought of too. We didn't even talk about that. But I like everything with Clone Wars specifically was something that
it's all that stuff they experienced together and all those ups and downs, and this is where it got them.
Yeah.
It's such a sad. It's such a this is why in A New Hope he can say to Luke, a different guy. Like you said, Mike, like that's a different man, and he's not savable. Like that is Obi-Wan had to have
one tried.
Obi-Wan had to have this kind of experience to be like,
to really be like,
this dude is gone, and I appreciate like that the show telling us that. I appreciate his existence. I think it's worth it to have it in canon.
And they went the extra step of saying goodbye, Darth. Because in A New Hope, he calls him Darth. Jamie and I always laugh at that, so that was like a good.
Master of Evil.
I thought, this was by far like the most emotional battle that Anakin and Obi-Wan have.
Absolutely.
So it was wonderful. Yeah. So good. I had an idea though. I was thinking.
Alien.
I wonder if the
Alien.
kind of the I get. Okay, this is gonna be a long spiel. I get the point of.
Johnny's gonna talk. Everybody, get ready.
I get the point of the flashback with Anakin and Obi-Wan training, like in the last episode, because like obviously there was a lot of themes running through that episode specifically. But I think it would have been kind of cool if they like in this episode, like within this fight, they cut back from like to like Anakin and Obi-Wan fighting, then back to Vader and Obi-Wan. It would have been a cool parallel with flashbacks. But anyways, that was just.
I think that would have been a lot.
Would have been
especially because
heavy. It's I mean, this is the rematch of the century, no?
But especially because we've been cutting back in between Reva, Rue, and Owen, which we haven't really talked about yet.
Right.
Yeah.
So to have 3 cuts, that would have been a little messy, I think. But anyway, like
thank you,
Owen and Beru, man. Like
Beru's a badass.
Bonnie Peace, like
Beru
pulling out the blasters.
Yeah.
She's like, he can have my blaster.
Click,
cold dead fingers.
Let's go.
Which I gotta gush about for a second. The comic connections, because that is a scene that like in Star Wars issue 15, Jason Aaron's run from 2015. At the end of this episode, Obi-Wan is in the exact same outfit he's in that comic, which takes place after this in the canon, which I love seeing that outfit.
I thought it was the Mythos figure.
They're inspired by each other, but it's one for one the comic outfit, and also in that comic, Beru is seen like with a gun, like defending Luke. And I was like, oh, that's always, but it's only in a couple panels, and you don't really get a full. It's like after a battle, so you don't really get a full context for it. Like, but you sort of get the impression that Beru is kind of a badass. And I was like, I kind of want to see that because you don't really get that. And here, they went all out. I was like, oh, the connections to canon there, I really appreciated.
Yeah, like when Reva like walks in the kind of area where Luke's doing this in A New Hope, and she punches her or like hits her with something. Like the second she walks in. I don't know. I don't know if she hit her with something, but anyways, that was pretty cool. She's like, "Run, Luke!" So that was cool.
I still don't know what her play was. Still, like I know she wanted to get Luke, but like then what?
Just to kill him.
She was gonna kill him.
But like that scene where she's like same as Luke about to kill Kylo Ren,
but
right?
like
about to do it and then stops herself.
But why?
I'd go different there, but
what? Vader. She's already on like Vader's
bad list.
Shit list for lack of a better word, and like I don't get. Does she think if she kills Luke Skywalker, who she doesn't even know who this boy is, like she'll get on better terms?
So that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted to talk about. I'm not confident in what she is aware of. To my like what I think might be happening, when she says justice, because that's the only context we really have is Owen's like, what do you want this for? She's like, justice. Yeah. We know that she wants to some extent, avenge her fallen friends and the Jedi Order for what Anakin did to her. And I think it could be, I don't know if she does know that it's his son. It could be that Obi-Wan in her eyes, Obi-Wan just manipulated me in the last episode to try and fight Vader, failed, and I want to get revenge on Obi-Wan. And I know Obi-Wan's protecting this kid. Okay. It could be that. There's not a lot of, they leave it kind of vague, and I do like that. Because ultimately, she says she has the moment in the episode. The strongest point is she says, "Have I become him?" Yeah. That is the ultimate path of this dark side. Once as Yoda says, once you start down the dark path, forever will dominate your destiny. Like this is the moment, and she's at that nexus of like, am I gonna let it kill me, destroy me? And so her recognizing that she is just becoming what Darth Vader is. I think it was, I don't know. I could see it either way of what she knows, but I think it was more important her arc becoming of as Mike, I know you love Asajj Ventress, a very like in this era a sort of parallel to Asajj Ventress.
It's funny you say that because
a redeeming character.
Jenny was like, "Oh, they mentioned Quinlan Voss," and I was like, "Yeah, like I can actually now see a Reva Quinlan Voss storyline with them like smuggling a youngling and have that be like a short story or something."
Pretty dope.
That'd be cool.
And they are both like dark skin, like representing like it's. I feel like they match already in that way because she is similar to Asajj Ventress, which is like that's perfect for Quinlan Voss
and Quinlan could connect with that,
And we obviously can't get Asajj, but Reva might be the next best thing.
Are they setting up
in that like Jedi to Inquisitor back to light side user, and she might get to use white lightsabers, right? Because she'll purify hers.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll touch white lightsabers. That's tough. That's kind of.
I don't know. They have that canon multiple times now with. Especially Ahsoka's lightsabers are Inquisitor's lightsabers.
So right.
Or Inquisitors.
Do we think that they are setting up Reva to kind of maybe even join the path at this point?
Yeah, because when she walked into that room and saw the notes on the wall of all like Quinlan's, graffiti or whatever, she obviously recognized some of it.
That or I think she could just join the partisans as well. But I do.
I think the path would be,
and I think sometimes. In a way, maybe Quinlan Voss, Reva, like you can get some of that in Jedi, not Fallen Order. What's the sequel going to be? Survivor. There you go.
That'd be really cool.
You're going to want to get, I
wonder if Lucasfilm would think that far ahead, but that'd be really dope.
Because I think getting even Grogu in on that. Like I said, Quinlan Voss could be the one that rescued Grogu. I'd like to see that.
Smuggling Grogu. That'd be
the path is
we now know that he's a youngling smuggler.
I know, right?
Yeah,
there's a lot to do.
Yeah.
Well, it is important to note that Jedi Survivor does take place the same year as the show. They mentioned that canonically, so maybe there's a connection there.
And as it takes place,
Survivor does,
right?
Yeah.
And I thought that Reva obviously had a lot of parallels to Trilla. There was so much similarity there, and like at the end when Trilla finally turns back, Vader's there to take her out immediately. And here it was similar, but she didn't actually kill Reva. Right. So it's almost like if Trilla got to live.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm super glad she lived, Reva.
Yeah, I do. I am too. I felt that was with the direction she was going with the redemption arc. I was expecting more Obi-Wan Kenobi specifically being the turning element, but I'm glad it was Luke that was that turning element, that she just really couldn't kill a child, and
I think Luke only had one line in this show, didn't he? I think he said like much. One thing. It was mostly like Baru telling him to like, here, go over
there. I'm not afraid.
Yeah, I'm not afraid.
I know he said something else too, but I can't remember. But,
yeah.
But do we anything more about the Vader and Kenobi fight? I mean,
other than that, I loved it.
A lot of.
It reminded me of Scene 38 reimagined. In a lot of ways, the dynamic camera angles, a lot of just the fact that both of them were energetic and not like old men, just like barely sparring.
So I do want to get your guys' thoughts on. Last night we were watching it. Ben had some problems with the fact that Obi-Wan just walked away.
Yeah, this is
right.
How do you guys feel about that? That he just leaves him, like he says, "See ya."
Why would you have a problem with that?
Well,
to be fair, in the beginning of the episode, he was like. Or he's like, I gotta stop him. Or I gotta end this. or something like that. But anyway, I mean, obviously, we know
there was
Vader
a lot of
gonna die, but
a lot of things I was thinking during that scene, like because
I
thought the show would end.
Oh, you mean after the fight? I'm sorry.
After the fight.
I thought you meant at the end. I was like,
no.
Makes perfect sense.
After Vader and Obi-Wan fight, Obi-Wan walks away.
What should he do instead of walk away, though?
Kill him is what Ben was saying.
Yeah.
Oh, but Kenobi could do that.
Honestly, that's the thing. Yeah, Obi-Wan has basically said, "I cannot kill my own brother," kind of thing.
Yeah.
He literally said that. Even now, at this point in time, there is a purpose for his looking after Luke and making sure that Luke, comes of age and stuff like that, because of the whole Chosen One thing. So the fact is, if he did actually
it's like
kill,
Vader's the main threat of that.
He,
Right.
but this is, he's the main thread of it. But the element of Anakin or Vader being the Chosen One still has to wringle around and bounce around in his mind. If Obi-Wan decided to kill him right there and then, even if he wanted to, and I don't think he wanted to, there's this element of this whole Chosen One path still had to play out, and it wasn't his responsibility to take out Obi-Wan. To take out Vader. Even though
I like that, Chad.
That's a good point, Chad. Yeah.
This is what I was saying last night. Is that in Kenobi's mind?
Yeah.
Well, not only is can a true Jedi not kill? Like a Jedi should not kill.
Yeah.
He does, and Kenobi does.
I shouldn't. It's not the Jedi way.
It's not the Jedi.
Kill him. There.
And Obi-Wan does that on Mustafar, and he regrets that decision. And then throughout the series, he's like, "Oh my God, what happened?" But when he becomes a Jedi again, and by the end, he knows that it is not. And I drew a parallel between Luke and Kylo Ren in The Last Jedi, where for him, Obi-Wan cannot be the one to solve this. He was the one who put Anakin in that position. Just like how Luke was the one who scarred and changed Ben. It had to be Ben's parents, Han and Leia, to pull him out, to save him. It couldn't be the person who put you in that place. And Obi-Wan knew to resolve this thing with Anakin. I mean, it couldn't be Ahsoka. We saw that in Rebels. Ahsoka couldn't do it. It couldn't be Obi-Wan. It had to be Luke. It had to be his son, this other person who he saw him in a different way. Even the other people who saw good in him, they were from his past. They scarred him. This Luke was something new for Vader. It was something new for Anakin that brought Anakin back out. Just the way that like Ben Solo, as Lord Santeca said, like your family comes from the light. Like it had to be his parents, not the guy who he thinks was going to kill him. Like it's a parallel in Star Wars thing where I think Obi-Wan does, like Chad said, he knows that someone else has to do this.
And I think because Obi-Wan could have probably done it right then and there, but I think the end game is the Emperor.
Yeah.
Like if you take Vader out, there's just going to be another Vader eventually. Someone else is going to go in that position.
The Emperor continues.
Yeah, I think maybe Obi-Wan in a way knows. The future's clouded, but maybe he knows.
Yeah.
Vader is the key to getting to the Emperor. And
he did say that the future has a way of working out.
Exactly.
I couldn't disagree more than this. I mean, the whole point is that Anakin and Vader are this is what the dark side does to you. He's a small, defeated, broken man in that moment. Like all he cares about, he's there alone on the ground with his mask broken, screaming Obi-Wan, Obi-Wan. And Obi-Wan.
I love that we got an Obi-Wan screaming, a Kenobi screaming now.
That was my issue with the fight. I think now that I think of it was, I always thought Vader would presume Obi-Wan was dead because in A New Hope he's like, oh, he's still alive or whatever he says.
No, he just says a presence I haven't felt since.
But when he's talking to Tarkin, doesn't he say something about Obi-Wan still being alive? I can feel him.
Yeah, but he's just doing the same bullshitting that he does to Palpatine, where he's like, Kenobi means nothing. It's like clearly that's not true.
Vader actually. So in Rebels and A New Hope, it is Tarkin and the Emperor who both say, "If Obi-Wan lives, whatever." They're on other stuff. It is Vader in both of those scenes that go, "No, he's here. He's still alive."
Right.
And Rebels. In Rebels, when Vader's talking to the Emperor, he says, maybe Kenobi, and Emperor says, if he still lives, forget about it. He's
sit, boy, sit.
He's like, forget about it, man.
You know what I love too? I love the constant respect that even Vader puts on Kenobi's name. He does it in A New Hope too, when Tarkin is like, oh, like that your Jedi stuff is like so dead by now, and Vader is like, don't you underestimate this guy. He tries to warn Tarkin, like, Kenobi will F all of us up. Like he basically never stops respecting Kenobi, even though and here you saw it a bunch of times where, like, even though he had him down in the pit covered with rocks, he still called him master.
Yeah.
Like he never stopped like respecting him in that way, and that I love that.
Yeah, that's a good catch.
Sith always holding grudges, not focusing on the objectives.
I'm absolutely loving the way that the show is thematically tying into the original trilogy. The more we talk about it, the more I like it. The way it contextualizes stuff later.
Yeah.
Didn't we have a lot of questions about this about 6 weeks ago? Going, is this going to work? Is this
people
a
hated
problem?
hated episode 4 the most, right? That's the rescue from the Inquisitorium or whatever. And
I had no problems with that.
People were like,
I didn't hate it. It just was,
but that was like basically a mini Death Star rescue.
Sure,
I was fine with that.
A New
that's
Hope.
That's for me as an older,
it was solid
generation.
Yeah.
That's what I needed a little bit of anyway in this series. I needed that. It was a repeat of what we've seen before, but it also paralleled quite beautifully what you see in Star Wars, whether it's Rebels or whether it's Clone Wars. You need the rescue sequence where they go in at some point during a adventure and do a simple, plain, straight out, silly rescue. And
we needed Wade.
I'm not a big fan of just like the stuff and just like they're just sneaking around Imperial hallways.
Really, but it's necessary for Star Wars. It needs to happen at some point. And people play it in the games. You sneak around hallways. It's like, come on, you go infiltrate an Imperial base on a game or something like that.
Well,
I think it's there. It exists.
We're coming up on an hour here, and I want to bring in some people in the chat before we go to talk about it. But before we do that, the one last big thing in the episode. You haven't.
I feel like there's a lot of. I think there's a few things.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Okay.
The thing that made
I think it's Qui-Gon.
Keep going with your.
Cool.
Yeah, Qui-Gon. What did you have in mind? What are the other big things that you?
Palpatine.
Nah.
Was
that not Ian McDermott? It was.
Yeah, it was.
Absolutely.
It was.
Did it feel like him?
It did not feel like him to me.
Well, the man is much older. Come on, it's like I after
it wasn't
rewatching
even
it.
that. I just
that was him though, huh?
Oh yeah.
I didn't even bother checking it. It was just inconsequential.
But you could tell it was him.
Yeah.
We had already talked about that scene though.
Yeah.
We just talked.
I thought as it panned out to the throne room, I thought it looked like a '90s video game cutscene.
Yeah, it was a beautiful shot though. I loved it.
It was a cool shot. It just was like maybe it was the coloring, but it was cool.
I thought that it was kind of a random scene overall, or maybe not random, but just like Palpatine's inclusion, I guess.
It was to tie up that thread. I guess.
I think it would have been cooler if like Palpatine came earlier, like before Vader went to Jabim. Or maybe even before the Kenobi fight. I
don't know, because I think the second you talk to Palpatine's going to shut.
He's going to shut you down. Yeah, exactly. I feel like this was Vader on his little mission all by himself. And
what if Vader was like, "No, I need to do this." I don't know.
Palpatine would have come in.
Palpatine would have been like,
"Yeah, for real."
Yeah,
he's punished him. I mean, it's not completely out of question. Okay, shoot my ideas down. That's fine. Thank you.
But yeah, so Qui-Gon and then the ending with Leia are the two big things left for us to talk about. And I personally, on rewatch, loved the Qui-Gon ending. After the last time we saw a Force Ghost was in Rise of Skywalker, and I think Luke in that movie looks a little funky, and I was worried. I was like,
it was the hair.
It was the hair, it was the wig and the super blue, and I was like, I don't know, but the way that Qui-Gon looks in this, I thought was perfect.
I loved how going on 25 years after Phantom Menace, and Liam Neeson doesn't need de-aging. He looks great. Just looks fantastic.
Absolutely,
he was great.
And seeing Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon on screen together again, like, it was great. Man, I want.
It was like it just felt
Took
like
you long enough.
I know. Yeah, I loved that.
So
I wanted like a tiny bit more. I wanted a tiny bit more Qui-Gon just because such a build up, but yeah.
They could play with this though in season 2 if they do go that route for sure.
Well, that's something we can talk about.
I would take a whole episode of
I don't know.
Force Ghost Qui-Gon.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, Force Ghost.
What I was pitching last night to the guys
I don't want season 2.
Was that I don't want a season 2, but if they do another Kenobi story, give me what Yoda had in season 6 of the Clone Wars, learning how to become a Force Ghost with Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Like, he literally is like, "Hey man, come on,
carry a whole
let's
show."
go.
Though I mean,
Liam Neeson and Ewan McGregor, can they carry a show?
Tales of the Jedi.
Hell yeah, absolutely.
What would the like arc be though? Like, what would the story? What would the conflict be?
I get what you're saying.
Okay, what was Yoda's arc in that moment of the Clone Wars. I think you can absolutely explore yourself in the Force and letting go of
absolutely.
There's still tons I think you could do when you literally travel into the Force.
Dude, you should totally go on a Tuscan ayahuasca trip like Boba Fett.
Yes, it'd be
go on a little tree quest.
Exactly, man. Just like Yoda.
An internal struggle of journey rather than
carve a gaffy stick, do the whole go on the whole ayahuasca.
Totally.
I thought it was a great way to end the show, though.
Or what? Lizard Gecko.
It was definitely full circle, which was really cool. But,
Snorts and Gecko.
I just wanted a little bit more.
I have two very small things to note. One, did you guys notice where young Leia put Lola in a little pouch in the holster, which was just adorable.
That was great.
And two, did you also notice that Owen, after the fight with Reva, was limping? It also matches the slight limp that old Owen from New Hope has. He's got that slight limp. There's a permanent damage to his leg.
That was a pretty brutal fall he took,
That was a
man.
brutal. They made purpose.
I have to say, I did appreciate that they were able to play up how badass Beru was without emasculating. Owen. They still allowed him to be
but they both had their moments, which was
protective of his family. But they did show him being like, God damn, woman, when she pulled out the guns, and threw it to him, he was like, whoa,
totally,
She means
AJ, earlier at the beginning of the stream, you said you had a question about the score at the end of the episode.
I think you know what I was going to ask now that you're bringing it up. When Obi-Wan's talking to Leia, it was the conversation was very similar to Luke and Leia in Last Jedi, I thought.
Right.
And the music, it was like the beginning of the Spark, that piece from Last Jedi. I thought it was very similar, but I didn't go back and listen.
See, what I thought it was, what I noticed was it was the first time the or the Leia theme.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That part played, but
then Leia theme,
I got to go back and watch it.
Oh no, but I'm trying to think. In that moment in the Last Jedi, you're talking about. I think they play part of Leia's theme in that, right?
They do.
They play Luke and Leia's theme, which is from Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi.
This is specifically Leia's theme directly from A New Hope. Yeah.
They are similar though. I mean, it's.
But I know.
Totally.
More to the point, though. I get what AJ is.
But the conversations are very similar too.
Yeah. And
they were face to face,
incorporating it. Yeah.
I feel like getting the scenes on Alderaan and more scenes with the Organas. That, speaking of context, just makes the destruction of Alderaan all the more
I know.
Why they gotta blow up?
The most we've seen Alderaan too. So
you think Lola got blasted on Alderaan, man?
But that would be another cool reason to do a young Leia show. You could definitely feature more Alderaan and show more. Really,
well, I think we're going to see that. We're going to see that in I think we're going to see more of Alderaan in Andor. Yeah, for sure.
Scene stealer. I think he's a scene stealer. He was so good.
Is.
Every part. Love him. Big fan.
All right. Well, speaking of big fans, we're big fans of you, the audience. So let's put the.
That was good. That was great.
I'm gonna make room. I have to bounce.
Nice. All right.
Thank you, Mike, so much.
Thank you guys for having me.
All right, Mike. Thank you.
As always.
We'll catch you, buddy.
Peace out, guys.
Mike Jedi everywhere. Bye.
So we're putting the link in the chat. Hop on in. Talk about Kenobi.
Hold on.
I don't know. So for me, I think this ending really satisfied me for the whole show.
Here's one thing.
Absolutely.
Here's one thing that I think. Sorry. I was listening to it twice, so my bad. But we brought up BD1 was brought up a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Now there's this rumor of Cal Kestis being in a show. We don't know if it's Cal Kestis show specifically. Right. Or if
I think the rumor is that it's a show. He has a show. Cameron Monaghan has a show.
I don't know if I like that.
I don't
really
know.
like that.
I like him as just sticking to the video game.
I think it's too much. Games, and it should be a video game character. I don't need it to be everywhere.
If he crossed over into something, I'd
crossed
be fine,
over.
I don't want him. Not his own show.
Give me Cal Kestis in a show.
This is still pretty unofficial information though, so it's like.
Yeah, I'm skeptical.
Yeah.
It's been a want since Mando season 2.
Oh, for sure.
I don't think it's that.
I feel like they
crazy.
need. I feel like Black Chrysanthemum, they need to kind of do a semi-introduction for him to slip in somewhere into another show, and to see how that plays.
Well, Chrysanthemum. What do you mean? Chrysanthemum didn't really get.
No, but he was brought in from from the comics specifically.
Yeah, but Cal Kestis has like 2 games now, or about to have 2 games.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but not everyone plays games.
Yeah, exactly.
But not everybody reads comics.
I feel like
that's what he means.
Oh no, exactly. Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's like I feel like they need to kind of slip him into the sidelines. I'm aware of who he is, but I haven't played the game, so
Right.
Sure. Okay.
So it's like I feel like bring him in as a side character somewhere, introduce him, get everybody to go, "Oh my God, it's Cal Kestis."
Yeah, part of the rumor was that this has always been the plan.
Yeah. Okay.
Because they signed a stage actor or like an on-screen actor, and they knew what they were doing when they did that.
Right.
All right. Well, Anchorman, I see you in there, so let's bring Anchorman in. Hopefully, it'll work this week.
This is like the Qui-Gon build-up moment.
Let's
go!
Hey! How's it going, Anchorman?
There we go.
It's all right.
How are you, man?
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. Yes.
Yep.
Oh, thank you. Goodness.
Okay. Thank goodness.
Thank you.
What'd you think of the episode, man?
I loved it.
Loved it. There you go.
What was your favorite part?
Favorite part,
Probably Obi-Wan just kicking Vader's butt.
That's good.
Just
Yes, yeah.
It was great.
I wonder how he beat him. Like, no other Jedi can beat him.
Yeah.
But Obi-Wan, he just knew what he was doing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you gotta think about it. He trained him,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's Vader's Achilles heel.
There is experience there that goes beyond that, which is great.
Yeah. But what did you? Well, obviously, I assume you've seen the whole show. So, what did you think of the show in its entirety? I guess.
I loved it. I mean, like,
Yeah?
I just liked it. Like, I mean, sure, my expectations were high, but like, I still liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine were too. I get it. But yeah, I mean, what Qui-Gon? I get there's so many things right there at the end.
Anchorman, what did you think of? Sorry, what did you think of the idea of Reva surviving at the end?
Do you mean like she survived on Tatooine?
But just the fact she didn't die. Yeah. What were your thoughts about that?
That's it probably means we're gonna see her again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Even though
I
all
think
the
so,
Inquisitors are dead.
Yeah.
As far as we know.
Well.
Certainly, by A New Hope, they are all gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope. Yeah. I hope that. Yeah. Do we want her to die before A New Hope, or do you think she'll make it to like Mando era?
Not everyone needs to make it to.
Yeah.
Not everyone needs to make it to Mando.
I don't.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a long time.
I agree.
They need to slow that down.
Well, that's like.
How did the Inquisitor survive his stab wound?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, how did he? They didn't. We thought they were gonna explain it, but they didn't. So.
Back to.
I mean,
dark science.
Two
Cloning.
stomachs. And
Secrets only the Sith know.
2 stomachs.
Yeah.
That's what I.
It's true. Rupert Friend literally said that on Jimmy Kimmel.
No, yeah, he said on
Yeah.
That's the explanation
Fallon,
we have,
yeah.
I guess, So.
But the Inquisitor did say that revenge is his revenge of taking her
to live.
That's it. He was referring to himself at the same time that he was saying it about her. And she had the exact same...
He's so slimy. I love him. The way I don't know if you've been seeing all the memes, but like him, the cut of him walking up going, "Hello."
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Great.
The way he says hello. And it just
The Grand Inquisitor memes have been great. Yeah.
my
Didn't
favorite.
you guys meet Rupert Friend? Wait.
I did, luckily, and so yeah.
And Rupert spoiled the show for him.
Well, yeah, no, I said at the end.
Was he nice?
The conversation to him. What was that?
I think he asked, was he nice?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, very nice guy. Yeah, absolutely, yeah, very nice guy. But yeah, at the very end of our conversation, again, I felt so bad because there was no one in his line too, so I got to talk to him for a minute.
Did he go to the mall?
So yeah, I said, I hope you're not dead. I hope you're not dead, and he kind of gave me a look like, well.
Oh.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, of course he's not gonna die. Like oh my god, when I just the fallout of like the first 2 episodes coming out, the weekest celebration.
He's dead. Kanan is destroyed.
God.
Oh my
god,
god.
it's be a clone.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So,
yeah.
That was kind of funny, but anyways.
Did everyone talking?
I was one of those people. Me and Matt were.
We're all. Yeah.
Matt and I were losing.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Definitely a crazy moment. But Anchorman, anything else to say about the episode of the show?
Huh?
Might be a delay.
Did we lose him?
Maybe.
Oh, here we go. Say again, Anchorman. We're not.
We've lost contact, I think.
Roger that. I think we need to 10-4. Roger that.
Means one thing.
Anchorman, got it.
All right. Well, Anchorman.
I'll leave you in. I'll leave you in if it
it's great that we finally heard him.
Yeah,
you heard him
first
though,
time
yeah.
in 4 weeks. But
all right, Dimes up next. Friend of
bringing
the
in
show.
Dimes to $1.
Here he is.
Here he comes.
He has some hot takes. It seems.
He does have some hot
yeah,
takes.
oh yeah.
I
Hot
agreed with
takes.
some of his
Hey,
takes.
Dimes.
Hold on. Oh, hold on.
Here, is he ready? Maybe
No.
give him a second.
No, he just said in the private chat, guys, can you bring someone else in? I'm eating.
Oh,
Well, Dimes.
What
There
are
you
you
go.
eating?
Well, I guess let us know. I guess let us know when you're not eating, Dimes. No one else.
we
is
can
eating.
talk for a minute
Yes.
though. But
No one else.
Can I
is
ask a
eating.
question?
Absolutely. I love talking.
So I asked this to Jamie before I hopped on, but
Mhm.
what are your rankings of the live action Star Wars shows, or even just the Star Wars shows? But we'll just do live action, I think.
okay, so we have season both.
I know mine.
Two seasons
You
of
can-
Mando, Book of Boba Fett, Kenobi.
Yeah,
That's it.
you can do seasons, I guess, if that makes it.
I'm
more
gonna do
spicy.
seasons.
Okay.
I know.
Yeah.
I know mine. I know mine is controversial.
Mine changed overnight with this
I
episode.
go Mando season 2,
Right.
Yep, agreed.
Book of Boba Fett,
No.
Jamie agrees with you.
Kenobi, then Mando's season 1. That's my
Okay.
my ranking.
Here's mine.
I almost agree.
Mando 2.
Jamie agrees with me.
yeah.
Book of Boba Fett.
Hold on. Actually. No, hold on. Sorry. Someone else.
Love it.
Brent, you want to go? Sorry, I can't.
I'm gonna go Mando season 2, Kenobi, Book of Boba Fett, and then Mando season 1 is probably where I'd go.
Yeah. Okay. Mando 2, Kenobi, Mando 1, Boba Fett.
Okay.
You've seen it once. Like
I,
half.
I've seen the best episode like a billion bajillion times. So that's
I
what
think
that's all
before
that
this finale, I agreed with Levi's list, but like
Okay.
Kenobi swapped. Just this episode was incredible for me.
It was.
So what is yours? So it's
Mando 2,
Mando 2.
Kenobi by a smidge, Book of Boba, Mando 1.
Right.
I love.
I think people underestimate Mando 1. Mando 1 is a great great
Oh no,
Mando
no, no,
2,
yeah.
like-
It's so hard because
It's such a
I
good-
don't like
it's
putting
such a
one
good
above the
season.
other. That's the
Mando
hard
2
one.
made me forget
What a
about
great
Mando 1.
season.
It
Oh,
was
Yeah.
good. It was
Wow.
good.
I'm with AJ on that one. I just something for me. I just love Tim Morrison so darn much.
I
It's-
love Tim.
It's
Yeah.
hard for me to
love
watch
Tim.
Book of Boba Fett and not the
The show-
Bane. Him with
The show was a
cool
mess, but
end.
it was some of those
Oh,
episodes
it's
were
some of the
great.
best. I am not an old man. I quote it all the time in my head. I'm
There's
always
that
quoting.
time.
I am always quoting Book of Boba Fett. I
Right.
find myself.
Anchorman's
All
ranking is Mando 2, Mando 1, Obi-Wan.
These are not
Book
the
of Boba
death
Fett.
pits of
Fair enough.
Dern. I am not a
That's good.
sleeping Trandoshan god. I love all that stuff. When the
I love Tim.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
What if
Just kind
you
of overall a little mid on the show. That's all. I don't know.
It's
Yeah.
tough. Kenobi
what
might
if you rank all Star Wars shows though?
Oh.
Not seasons
Oh.
then.
Oh wow.
That'd be
we
tough.
Might have, we might
That's,
have,
that would require
Yeah.
a
we
bigger
have to add
list.
Kenobi. We have to add Kenobi to the tier list.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
for another
tier
show,
list.
I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe
We
long
could-
discussion.
we could,
That's
we could
ad
wanna
hoc.
do it right now.
Yeah, ad
In a
hoc.
few weeks'
You wanna
time, we'll
add
be adding
Kenobi?
Andor too. So,
Oh, true.
A few
Yeah.
weeks time, it's gonna be like months. What do you?
well, 2 months.
I gotta grab
Yeah.
a pencil.
Yeah,
Man,
2 months.
Let me try to get. Oh, I think
Adamar,
Dylan has
I
a
love
tier
that.
list.
I love that Obi-Wan was the best Star Wars show for you because that is the beauty of all of these shows.
No, that's
is
the
that-
Yeah.
Why
That's
is it tier? Levi, who is a tier list on?
I don't know.
somebody once said
Don't
like
know.
don't remember.
so every piece of Star Wars is someone's favorite piece. Like someone out there, Resistance is their favorite thing, or whatever. I mean,
Sorry.
nothing wrong with
Hey,
Resistance.
don't you
but, like,
laugh at that? Resistance had some good moments.
Well, it had to,
Oh,
it had some
no,
good
not
moments.
you, AJ, Johnny.
No,
Johnny.
that was me. It was me.
But someone's gonna grow up one
They're
day
wrong.
and be like, "Oh, remember Resistance?" Like at the times, the Clone Wars movie
yeah.
wasn't well received. Clone Wars wasn't well received either. But like one day it became popular.
Oh God,
That's the beauty of Star Wars.
That's
Oh
it.
yeah,
It keeps
don't know what
bouncing
ours is
back.
now.
It keeps
Yeah.
bouncing up back
Here,
and
guys.
around.
Guys, I have word in. I've got good news. The barbecue sandwich has been finished, and Dimes is ready to talk. So Dimes to
I'm
$1.
gonna need a review on that sandwich.
Hey,
How was
Here
it?
you are.
Is he ready?
Here we go.
Oh, black screen.
How you doing?
How was the
Hey
sandwich?
guys,
Hey,
can you hear me?
How's
Yeah.
your sandwich?
How's the sandwich, man?
Dimes?
There you go.
The sandwich was top tier.
8 out of
Okay.
10.
Better
Very
than
cool.
Kenobi.
It was better than Kenobi, yeah.
Oh!
It was a Mando season
Yeah,
2.
this guy. I read this
sandwich.
guy.
But there weren't any Qui-Gon Jinn cameos in my
Okay.
my sandwich.
All right, see, I get that.
I mean, it did have green like pickles, so green lightsaber.
Okay.
Maybe.
Ah.
Like
All right.
As,
Like,
Fair enough.
as George Lucas likes to say, Star Wars it's like poetry. It rhymes.
yeah.
Mhm.
Just like the barbecue
Like
sandwiches.
poetry.
the
it
barbecue
rhymes.
is Anakin on Mustafar.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe that Gorg that Jar Jar was trying to buy from Gra Gra was a barbecue Gorg. And seventh movie.
I heard there's
nobody has any idea what Levi's talking about, but
I do.
No,
I got it. I got the gold.
You know who that is? Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Dimes in our Discord has posted a lot about the show, given his opinions a lot. But now here we're on the stream. From what I understand, this show you did not vibe with it. So I want to hear what you're feeling about that.
Yeah,
okay,
man.
So I really like the first 2 episodes. I love the first 2 episodes. I thought they were amazing.
Right.
I thought they were written well. Decently directed. The direction in the whole show I wasn't a big fan of, except for this episode. I really like the directing in this in certain scenes in this episode, like the fight. It was well directed, I think. I didn't notice the shaky cam this episode, even though it probably was still there. I just didn't notice it.
It was there, not a lot. I agree, but not a lot though.
Yeah. And that like still shot of Kenobi in like the twin sons pose.
Oh yeah.
That was such a cool shot.
Iconic.
Yeah. It really is. It is iconic, and like seeing that in live action was really cool too.
Yeah.
Like we've seen it now in Rebels, in Twin Sons, and now in live action.
Woo!
Yeah, that's just such a cool shot.
It's from Revenge of the Sith.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's his. It's his move.
It's your move.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's your move. Isn't that a Battlefront 2 emote?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's a pose.
Hello?
Underrated game. Underrated game.
Default pose, I think.
Yeah, it is underrated.
I agree.
Yeah.
I love that campaign, but that's a different conversation.
It is.
That's a different conversation. This Dimes, keep going into it, man. Like, why did this show?
Okay, so
I can't wait to debate.
It's a bunch of little things. Like to me, it also just felt like a collection of moments instead of like a story. I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know. It's just like there wasn't like a clear arc. When I think of Star Wars, I think of just simple, clear arcs throughout the show, throughout the saga, and like even Mando continued that, and that's one of the reasons I think it was good. It's just it's a bounty hunter, and there was a child that was introduced into his life, and he was fond of it, and he became a changed man, like because of Grogu, and he got attached to him, and I think simplicity is kind of is a big part of Star Wars. Like A New Hope, when you rewatch it, it's a pretty simple movie actually. If you break it down to the fundamentals and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And like that's one of the reasons I'm such a big fan of the first like couple episodes of Book of Boba Fett. It's just a story about a guy fitting into a tribe, like a guy becoming part of a family.
Interesting. So you love Book of Boba Fett.
It's a simple story, and it just works really well.
Johnny,
your
opinion on Book of Boba
Fett. That's an interesting.
Hey, Book of Boba was a fun time. It was a fun time.
I know it's a hot take. I like Book of Boba Fett better than Kenobi, but my biggest problem with Book of Boba Fett is just the villain.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh my god, what an underwhelming.
The Pikes were very lackluster.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
Should have been the Dong.
But I think all the episodes individually work really well.
Book
of Boba Fett.
The death of the Cad Bane is one of the best parts of that.
No, it is.
Okay,
no,
the
it
death,
is not.
The death of Cad Bane.
He got stabbed. He could live.
It was good.
Levi, I'm a defender, but no,
it is the perfect.
No,
that's worse than your. That's worse than your Yoda. Yoda ranking.
There's no explanation. There's no explanation of their rivalry at all. At all. He just shows up.
It's from Clone Wars.
No, it's not though. It's not. You're wrong.
It may be deleted, but it's canon in my heart.
I know. To like us, like to just.
In your mind.
It's weird how they did that.
Even in Bad Batch, when he's like,
you have a bad argument.
That line alone, when he's like, once you kill one clone, you know them all. And that moment when he gets killed by a clone, like he was training Boba only so he could prove that he was better than Jango, the ultimate like template of the clones. And for this guy and his for him to get him. Finally, I don't know. I think it's perfect.
See what happens when we bring Dimes onto the chat. I'm kidding.
It happens every time.
I'm kidding. It happens every time.
I think they did Kevin a disservice. However, the Hot Toys figure looks very nice.
Oh yeah. So Dimes, I do have a question for you. Do you think if you go back and rewatch Kenobi as a whole beginning to end kind of story now, do you feel that this might change your perspective knowing how this ends rather than the breakup, because they've really said and announced this was meant to be a full film, and that we're just getting it in pieces. And every film will have these moments of change in direction, stuff like that. But I don't know. I'm just curious as to your thoughts. Are you going to?
Yeah, I think it's very possible that when I rewatch it, I could like it a lot more.
Right.
Because I think it works better when binged. I mean, I haven't binged it yet.
A lot of things do.
I just
me neither.
Yeah, I think it just works better that way.
Yeah.
Unlike Mando, I actually think Mando's better week to week.
Week by week.
I think that show's perfect.
But that also is a week by week episodic kind of story.
Yeah,
they finish up in one place. And there are some shows out there, and the fact that they officially said this is really a 6-part movie rather than a 6-part series means that maybe that is throwing some people off as well on how they relate each episode by episode. As to
for
how
sure.
It connects.
Yeah.
And
I mean, who knows? Maybe when I rewatch it, maybe everybody's arc is just gonna be more distinct and more just more clear. Maybe I don't know.
No, I think watching it through you'll have a different experience. I mean, that's
totally.
I plan to do.
Yeah.
I really
want to talk about one thing though.
Yeah, go ahead.
The budget for this show, I don't know what it was, but it was not a lot, or if it was like
$10.
I might agree with you there. I don't think it was a budgetary reasons. I think all the VFX itself looked great.
The budget would be about the same as everything else. It is the cost and the price of inflation of everything right now that probably drove it through the roof.
You and inflation is a hell of a lot more than paying for.
Oh no, that's also a big part of it. Oh yeah, no, that's a big part of it too. But the cost of materials, the cost of everything right now in California is so ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. Yeah, for sure. There's a ton of inflation out there.
So they probably
it was like 12% last year or something.
Yeah,
Alderaan looked good. Coruscant flashback looked good.
Yes. So that's what I'm saying. So
it was inconsistent,
but it just doesn't feel cinematic. It doesn't feel cinematic.
Really?
Like
I do disagree with you.
Any of the movies.
I can agree with Dimes in a certain way. I think the main issue with me, and I said this again, is the graininess of this show. This show is very dark and very grainy, and it bothers me.
And I rest my case that Book of Boba Fett Episode 2 is one of the best pieces of live-action Star Wars.
Hey,
I agree. I agree.
Rest my case. When did you do that?
I don't know. I'm sorry. During this, I was thinking of you were talking about the reuse and the expense, and I was thinking about how in this most recent episode you can see the Nikto speed bike like outfits in the background of the refugees, and so I was thinking about when he walks into Tashi Station and just absolutely demolishes them, and I was like, man, what a good moment that is. And he rides away with
that's top tier.
So good, dude. So good.
The Kintan Striders.
The Kintan Striders.
Right.
I want a Book of Boba Fett season 2. I don't want a Kenobi season 2.
It's called Mando.
And even if I like the show, I still want to have one of the season 2 of Kenobi. The Book of Boba Fett season 2
no matter what they did, I don't want a season 2, but it looks like we're getting some sort of continuation.
Well, I don't know if there's a continuation, just another story.
I mean, it got so many viewers. Disney's not gonna.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's directly a Kenobi story or if it's more of they're just.
I mean, the Reva and Obi-Wan ending.
Give us a movie. Give us a movie. Why not?
I would like to see Reva spend time with Obi-Wan. I mean,
movie's iffy.
Yeah.
Really? You think movies?
They're gonna somehow shoehorn Obi-Wan going to
do a movie?
Halcyon.
Well, no, it's just like a movie. Oh god, yeah.
They're gonna throw that on us again.
The Halcyon.
Isn't that when the Lego thing?
If
they're gonna throw Kenobi into Morbius.
If they keep
Morbius too, I mean.
If they keep it to the Lego thing then the books, I'm okay with that. I just don't want if Halcyon's in like live action someday, I'll be like,
no, I don't want it. No.
The Halcyon spinoff. That'd be so sick.
It'll happen.
Be so sick.
Probably. It'll probably happen.
It's not that bad. It's whatever.
It'll be
all
a
right.
Mando.
Well, we've been going for nearly an hour and a half here. Dimes, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your pretty hot take. If you want to see Dimes' like full opinion, because I don't really think he got into it. He was really going in on the show on the Discord, and and I respect it though.
Anything else you'd like to say about your hot takes?
I'll give you one last chance.
Just one more thing. I'll give a ranking. And I'm gonna go Mando season 2, Book of Boba Fett, Mando season 1, Kenobi.
Wow.
Okay.
I like it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
An opinionated take.
But Mando season 1 is super
ranking.
close to Book of Boba Fett. Like, I love Mando season 1.
Oh no, Mando season 1's amazing.
They're all great. At the end of the day, there's nothing that's so terrible that that I wouldn't watch again. I love all this stuff. I'm gonna watch it over and over again. No
over time, I become more and more like AJ, where I'm just like, I don't want to ever rank anything ever again.
I hate ranking. I
wish I had the tier list for us. That would have been cool. We could have.
I only hate ranking Star Wars stuff because like you put something last and someone's like, "What? You put that last?" And it's like, "Well, I love all of them." It's hard.
It is. Yeah, I agree.
But all right, thank you, Dimes. We'll catch you later.
Yeah, thank you guys. See you guys.
See you, buddy.
See you, Dimes.
All right, everybody.
Dimes.
Love Dimes.
Would you like Dimes?
So this is the end of Kenobi.
I know.
Very sad.
I know, what the heck?
Done.
It's over.
It's over.
Feels like
we've been hyping this up for, at least in my eyes. I've 2 years.
Over a year and a half. Nearly 2 years. Yeah.
It was only like 3 weeks ago that we were at Celebration, and it is kind of crazy that it is such a short amount of time that we thought, oh, here's the first 2 episodes. Oh, and there it goes.
Yep, and they gone.
And now we're.
Yeah. Andor is going to be 12 episodes, and we're going to be sitting pretty.
It's going to overlap with Bad Batch, right?
Yeah, it will. Yeah.
It's going
to be a time.
Is it officially?
Yeah.
We know
Bad Batch is September 29th, isn't it?
28th, yeah.
28th, yeah.
I hope they do Wednesday, Friday.
You didn't know that, Johnny?
Oh, I hope so too.
That's gonna suck, dude. That's gonna suck.
Yeah, and She-Hulk is coming.
That's gonna be great.
At the same time.
That's gonna suck.
I
hate that. I hate.
Side note. I mean, Marvel.
And She-Hulk is gonna be a reaction.
Miss Marvel is not doing well because of Kenobi. Yeah, and Miss Marvel is amazing, by the way.
I have to watch it. How many?
It's
2 episodes?
Really good. I haven't seen the 3rd episode, but
the best Marvel show.
It is. I do agree. I agree too. I haven't seen episode 3 yet.
So much character. I love everything.
The reality, though, we're going to have an animated show of Star Wars up against a live-action show of Star Wars. We know the animated shows are going to get pushed back.
It makes me sad because I trust everyone who's telling me it's really good, and it's a casualty of Kenobi. It is 100% a Kenobi casualty. They should do 2 separate days.
You know what?
Yeah, I agree. That's where I'm going with that
conversation. I told you to watch it. You were like, no, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch Kenobi again. I'm like, bro, you just saw it like 3 times. He's like,
I personally liked it how they had it before.
Just watch this tomorrow, man. What do you want? You and Dylan. Dylan hasn't seen it either. Why just watch it? I don't know why you guys won't do it.
I'm gonna go watch it.
It's great. It's really great. I can't recommend it enough.
I can't either. The filmmaking process is probably the best that Marvel have done in their TV.
I would agree.
Wow.
It looks great.
Isn't it crazy? Everyone is like singing its high praises, and no one is.
It's the Top Gun of all that a lot of people are saying.
And a few weeks ago, it was the most least of my tier list, and I'm the one who's turned around. I love it when the show flips me upside down.
I need to see Lightyear. I'm actually kind of hyped for that. I know it was like. People thought it was okay.
Yeah.
People thought it was good. It just bombed at the box office.
It's like Solo.
I mean, so many movies came out
at
one same time.
These 2
weeks. Top Gun, Jurassic Park, and Lightyear are all out right now, and I haven't seen any of them yet.
That's so much.
But going back to our Star Wars dilemma, this is what the problem is going to be. You're going to have Andor. You're going to have
Bad Batch.
Bad Batch.
And Tales of the Jedi.
I really do not like that. Really do not like that. Very, very upsetting.
I love it.
You like that?
I love the content.
I might change my mind, but I like it.
But we have to make choices. What goes up first? What we react to?
When
you're in the trenches, when you're down in the dirt.
What am I on? Like I'm in the barracks snoozing.
Too much.
Actually, I am in the barracks snoozing while you guys are doing reactions. So you guys are in the trenches.
I don't know what we're gonna do for reactions either. I am not doing three a week. That's
as we descend into an existential crisis as content creators.
I'm gonna start crying.
Too much Star Wars.
We thank you guys for joining us on our final roundtable for Kenobi. We always appreciate you guys coming on. We appreciate you watching our reactions, watching all of our content. Thank you so much, guys.
And check out
AJ
Grogu,
Hollow Marauders. Look at those guys.
Did you guys do a reaction, AJ?
No, we were gonna, and then we were like, no.
Really?
We didn't do any for Kenobi.
They said we're not gonna go to the trenches. So
Brent has a reaction though, so go
check it out.
We did that one.
Let's get it to 5,000 views, guys. I know a lot of our viewers are already up, but hey, if you're watching it, let's get it there. Let's get Brent. Let's get Brent to 1,000.
Who's at 5,000?
Yeah.
Let's go.
I was saying Brent's. Never mind. He knew what I meant. He knew. Everyone else follows. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, guys. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Let's do a clip.
What?
Hello there.